Good morning and welcome. My name is Amy Kettner and I am with the organization called Strangers No Longer. Some of you know Strangers No Longer well and have been participating for years. Some of you may never have heard of us. So we are a network of Catholics in Michigan who have come together to support immigrants and refugees. We do this by creating circles of support or committees or groups of people in parishes, in schools, in our communities who care and focus on 3 areas of action. And I'll get into those in a minute because there will be a lot that if you walk away from today feeling like you want to do more, there's a lot more that can be done. We started back in 2017, and it started with groups of people who maybe didn't have their own immigration story, but wanted to help. And we've continually been growing, and now we're in about 20 parishes in Southeast Michigan. We're in about 12 high schools and Catholic youth groups at parishes. Many of you here are involved through those that youth effort. And we also have circles of support of immigrant women who gather together to share amongst themselves their own immigration story and to become leaders in our communities. And really now those women are the ones who are guiding our efforts.
We cannot make this trip alone. We must walk together on this journey. You promised to send us a helper, your Spirit. Help us to see your Spirit in those you send to journey with us. In the refugee family, seeking safety from violence, let us see your Spirit. In the migrant worker, bringing food to our tables, let us see your Spirit. In the asylum seeker, seeking justice for himself and his family, let us see your Spirit.
At Catholic Charities Station, we talked about the parallels between the Jesus and the Holy Family and the flight that they had to flee. But I'd also like to take a moment to reflect on crucified Jesus and the ways that our society, our world today, crucifies those who are forced to flee, forced to leave their homes. As was said at the Catholic Charities Stand, a place no one really wants to leave, right? No one wants to leave their home forever. So let's just take a moment of silence to think about those individuals who are here in our community who are like crucified Jesus. And let us think about the ways that, pray for guidance in the ways that God might be calling us to be present to that crucified Jesus and help relieve some of that pain. From the first stops to now, from our experiences together as circles of support, is that it's really the personal story, the story of individuals who have experienced immigration that really can change our lives, right? It's a conversion story in many ways. Once we hear the story of someone who has experienced immigration, it can really change our lives for those of us who aren't immigrants. And, so that personal story is huge. And for me, kind of my own conversion moment, if you will, was when I was working at a parish in Ann Arbor, St. Mary, and some of our parishioners who had been in our parish, who had been in the United States for 19, 20 years, they were deported. And they left behind their U.S. citizen kids, their partners, they left behind their whole community at St. Mary and in the Ann Arbor community. And I saw the way, I hurt, I cried. I was destroyed by the fact that they were gone. And I saw the way that my fellow community did as well. We really hurt at the parish when our parishioners were deported. So that was what got me hooked. And we, as I mentioned earlier, we have leaders who are willing to come and share their stories with you at your parishes, at your schools. I have the awesome job of being able to work with a lot of you in the high schools. And so I know there are many of you here today. I see, let's see, we got Mercy here, right? So a couple of you from Mercy. Thanks, Kurt, I appreciate that. Divine Child is here. Obviously, Notre Dame Prep is here doing an amazing job getting us all together. And let's see, Cristo Rey is here, Detroit Cristo Rey. Am I missing any other schools here today? I think that's it. Yes, we've got lots of parishes here. Yeah, what? San Andrew Bassett, right, downriver, all right. Awesome. And then, of course, many of us come from all over the region, from parishes and communities across Southeast Michigan. Just real quick, a couple things that you guys can do if you want to get more involved after this. Our three areas of focus are education. And so an example of this is that earlier this week, the Notre Dame Prep students invited one of our immigrant leaders, Darius Bartolone, and she shared her story of immigration in front of the whole high school here. And the team here did an amazing job of welcoming her and introducing her and asking lots of great questions afterwards. So that's something that's been done at Divine Child. Let's see, Mercy invited her as well. At Detroit Cristo Rey at the conference last year she spoke. So these women could come to your school or your parish to share a little bit about their story, because we recognize the importance of putting a human face on this whole issue, right? It's really about our human brothers and sisters. The second area of focus is accompaniment. So we walk with families. Some of our parishes have adopted a family that is seeking asylum, so they've helped them through their whole journey. The high school students, you guys collected well over $1,000 and 10 boxes, big boxes, trust me, I had to take them to the post office, to donate to Sister Norma Pimentel's Catholic Charities on the Border. And that was after she came to speak here and met with all of you. And you high school students were so enthused about it that you did such an amazing job. I was blown away. Sister Norma was blown away. And that's another way of being able to accompany our immigrant family. And then the final way that we do that is through advocacy. Detroit Cristo Rey and many of our, I think about over a dozen of our parishes are going to be entering into this advocacy season by inviting their state representative candidates, both the Democratic and the Republican candidates, to come to their school, come to their parish, and talk to their committee about immigration, about what we as Catholics believe.
I first want to introduce Paul, who's the CEO of Catholic Charities, which does a lot of really important work around here helping immigrants and refugees. Thank you.
Thank you, Allison. I'm Paul Probson, CEO of Catholic Charities of Southeast Michigan. We're so proud to be with you, to be with the students here and everyone supporting immigrants and refugees. I've seen the signs that say we stand with immigrants and refugees, and that is so important. This is the sign right here. That's so important because people need to know that they are welcomed and appreciated and seen as a person. We know every person is made in the image and likeness of God. We're a welcoming church. It's great to be here at this parish.
Help us to welcome you and newcomers, migrants, and refugees. Ayúdanos a darte la bienvenida entre los recién llegados.
So my invitation to us today is to think about if there is maybe someone in your life who has had an immigration story, or maybe you could reach out to Strangers No Longer and see about setting up a presentation at your home parish or school. But really the importance of listening to those stories and letting those stories empower us to take some action